String of mountain storms finally brought us what we needed. The third and final wave is expected to move through later tonight. Glad you could join us. I'm Kyle Clark.
I'm Alexandra Lewis. Unfortunately, we couldn't let our 9 News meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen out to enjoy all of that fresh powder. So unfortunately, we have you in studio. Sorry about that, but still, you got an important job to do.
Hey, I'm just glad I can just stare at those web cameras of all the snow that's still falling. This is a live shot here, Crested Butte right now. Snow still coming down lightly, and it will for a few more hours, and we'll finally be done with this. And it looks like Crested Butte here is going to get 4 or 5 additional inches from what they have reported so far. This is storm total here. Now, Crested Butte's already in the 25-inch range, so it looks like they're going to get close to 30. Wolf Creek ski area just clocked in with a new report tonight. They're up to 53 inches, more than 4 feet of snow in 4 days. That is what we needed. Now, all these winter weather alerts are starting to cancel out or get lifted, all except for the warning that's down here, and that's Wolf Creek. That's the magic zone right there. That goes for another hour, so we'll get a little bit more impactful snow, and then this is the next 3 days here in Denver. So we got a little bit of action tonight. You might have seen some flurries, but not too interesting. We've got a lot of sunshine coming your way this weekend, although the temperatures are going to be a little bit chilly, but a warm up and a dry up starting to get a hold of us again next week. I'll talk about that in just a few minutes.
Ski resorts around Colorado are expecting a busy weekend following all these storms.
9 News reporter Colton Chavez takes us to the mountains.
The stoke is certainly high.
Ski resorts like A-Basin are eager to ride the high from this week's winter storms.
When snow starts to fall, that's when we do start seeing people driving up from the Front Range and coming to join us for, these awesome snow days.
But those snow days have been hard to come by, with Colorado's snowpack dropping to historic lows in early February.
There's no denying that this is a weird snow season, and it does just make it that much sweeter when we do get some fresh snow.
West of Salida, Monarch Mountain is also welcoming the boost.
For the week total, we'll end up having over a foot, which in a normal winter would just be, every normal week.
General Manager Chris Haggerty says snow crews are making the most of this recent storm.
We are self-proclaimed snow farmers. It has forced us to get even better at that. Snow farming is really like our strategy of putting up fences around the mountain that help catch the snow when it is actively snowing and when it's not, when it's windy, right? And it's blowing from neighboring peaks and valleys.
And back here at A-Basin, this week's snowfall has allowed them to open up 15% more of the mountain. They're hoping it's a sign of snowier days ahead.
Yeah, don't put your winter gear away just yet.
But we have seen some of our biggest powder days in April and May, and the snowiest months in Colorado are actually typically in February and March.
Colton Chavez, 9 News.
It's been more than 8 years since 17-year-old Maggie Long was killed inside her home near Bailey. Investigators are still searching for her killers.
What's certainly not helping, CBI says, are flyers spreading misinformation about the case. 9 News reporter Shalima Maharaj joins us now with that. Hi, Shalima.
Hi there. Maggie Long was found dead inside her burning home on December 1st, 2017. And for years, the FBI, CBI, and local authorities have been working the case. So when one investigator came across flyers put up in stores with a number to call, they became concerned about tips going to someone not involved in the investigation.
We need to find these people that committed this act.
It's a mystery that has yet to be solved. Who is responsible for the death of 17-year-old Maggie Long?
I would say please reach out to the proper authorities that are working this case.
What Republican Park County Sheriff Tom McGraw doesn't want people to do is reach out to the person behind these flyers.
I do not believe that they're doing this to hinder our case or anything. I just think that they have got some bad information about the case.
The flyers began popping up around Bailey. The title reads, Local Maggie Long Task Force. Sheriff McGraw says there's already one of those.
We meet every quarter with the task force that is working on this case from CBI. They have 2 investigators that are assigned full-time to this case, plus I have 2 investigators that also assist in any way they can up in the Park County area.
McGraw says an investigator with the CBI task force came across the flyers while working the case. prompting them to take a closer look.
We have spoken to this individual here several weeks ago to discuss why they're doing what they're doing.
McGraw says he doesn't believe they're doing anything intentionally to harm the investigation.
The concern that we have about these flyers is that the people possibly are giving them information. We are not getting that information in return.
In 2018, law enforcement put out a sketch of 3 persons of interest in the case. There is also still a $75,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest and conviction. Now, if you have any information, you're urged to call the number on your screen right now. That is 303-239-4243. Shalima Maharaj, 9 News.
New tonight, a man will spend the rest of his life in prison for killing his neighbors in a property dispute in southern Colorado in 2023. Hanbe Clark was found guilty of killing Rob and Beth Greers and James Dalton. This morning, a judge handed down 3 life sentences for the shooting in Custer County and another 51 years for his conviction in a triple murder. The sentencing brought a bit of relief for families of the victims.
They were very pleased with the outcome. Again, these people have been through a really difficult time, 2.5 years of not feeling like they could, take that next step in the grieving process. And to give them that opportunity means a lot.
After the shootings, Clark went on the run, prompting a multi-state manhunt. Authorities eventually tracked him down in New Mexico with his alleged accomplice and girlfriend. Her trial is pending for April.
No officers will be charged for the shootout that killed a suspect and injured an officer and 2 clerks at a convenience store in southeast Denver. The Denver District Attorney's Office made the announcement today. Investigators say 35-year-old Hosea Moore walked into the Maverick on South Parker Road last October. They say he pulled a gun, demanded the clerks lock the doors, and told them to call police. When officers got there, investigators say Moore fired a shot. Officers forced their way in. Moore fired more shots. Officers fired back, eventually killing him. During the shootout, an officer was hit by one of Moore's bullets. 2 clerks were also injured. An officer shot one clerk in the leg. The other clerk's foot was hit with shrapnel. DA John Walsh said because the clerks were injured, he considered whether any of the officers would be liable for assault or reckless endangerment. The DA said he decided that the officers were in a, quote, extremely dangerous and fast-moving situation and didn't believe that a jury would convict under those circumstances.
The man at the center of an Amber Alert that turned into a SWAT situation in Commerce City is well known in the criminal justice system. The 9 News Investigates team found Jeremy Chavez's arrest record runs 15 pages, and that includes multiple incidents involving domestic violence and child abuse. One of those arrests was in April of 2021 when he stole a fire truck in Adams County. Court documents show in this latest arrest, authorities believe Chavez tried to steal 2 other cars before he's accused of speeding off in another person's truck.
Stepped about 10 feet away from the truck on the other side of the shrub and let the dogs do their business, and immediately heard my truck door shut, and then the truck peel off.
An AirTag left in the owner's truck allowed them to track that Chevy's location and report it to police. Twice, officers tried to stop him. Twice, he sped off. Police eventually arrested Chavez after he's accused of forcing his way into a home. Chavez remains in the Adams County Jail tonight on $25,000 bail. He's due back in court March 11th.
The family of a well-known accuser of Jeffrey Epstein is going to President Trump's State of the Union address next week. Sky and Amanda Roberts, Virginia Giuffre's brother and sister-in-law, live in Colorado Springs. They will be going as guests of 2 Democrats in the House who are trying to call attention to the Trump administration's handling of the Epstein files. Virginia Giuffre came forward years ago saying that former Prince Andrew sexually assaulted her when she was trafficked by Epstein at the age of 17. Giuffre died by suicide last year. Andrew was taken into custody and held for hours yesterday on suspicion of misconduct in public office. At this point, he has not been charged or exonerated. Virginia's brother, Sky, thinks his sister would be celebrating the small victory if she were still alive, but would be pushing for more accountability.
We're hoping that our DOJ, we're hoping that our own administration can acknowledge the same way like the UK is doing right now, the same way the king is actually holding his own brother to his feet to the fire. We have to do that to the same people here.
Andrew has denied all the accusations against him. His royal title was stripped by his family in October.
President Trump is calling the Supreme Court justices who ruled against him on tariffs a disgrace to our nation. It's a court he helped shape. In a 6-3 ruling today, the High Court found tariffs that Trump imposed under an emergency powers law were unconstitutional. The majority found the president cannot unilaterally set and change tariffs because taxation power clearly belongs to Congress. The court did not address whether businesses could get refunded for the billions they have collectively paid in tariffs. Trump says he will impose a 10% global tariff under another law that has never been used to apply tariffs before. That will only last 150 days without congressional approval.